YouTube. It is a sad day if you guys are 76ers fans like myself. I'm sure that's a very small portion of the people that are going to be watching this video. But basically, we're going to be talking about Jrue Holiday being traded to the Boston Celtics for Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, and a couple first-round picks. This is an absolute steal for the Celtics. I have been saying for so long, and I stand by this, and this is just basically just addressing the biggest weakness they've had, which is they really have needed a true point guard that makes really good decisions for a long time. I think that's been their biggest flaw. That's why I was pretty critical of the Kristaps Porzingis trade, because I felt like it didn't really address the weakness of the team. It just kind of added more versatility, which I felt like wasn't a great move. But now in hindsight, knowing that they have Jrue Holiday on the roster, who is exactly what I'm describing, really good defensive minded point guard who makes really good decisions and can create for himself and especially others, great playmaker. This is going to be the scariest team in the league, I feel like. You know, I just talked about Dame and him going to the Milwaukee Bucks and how that's terrifying as well. But I think the Boston Celtics really, by getting Jrue Holiday, just got 20 times better. I mean, like, so much better. It's going to take their ceiling way higher, in my opinion, if that whole team can stay healthy. You lose a little bit of defense in the front court with Robert Williams, and you lose a little bit of creation off the bench. Sixth man of the year, Malcolm Brogdon, going to Portland. But listen, man, this is really bad for the Eastern Conference, and it's really bad for the NBA, because if you guys have seen a lot of the Celtics playoff games and a lot of their collapses, it's because, in my opinion, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown just aren't really the best playmakers or decision makers in the world. And Marcus Smart wasn't really a true point guard. I mean, he was a decent enough playmaker, but I mean like a true point guard, like a classic pass first playmaking point guard who knows how to run an offense efficiently and makes good decisions that you can rely on. Celtics haven't really had that. I know Derek White's technically a point guard, but he's kind of more of a combo in my opinion. Also more defensive minded, great shooter. That's not really his game. Malcolm Brogdon is also kind of a combo guard, and Marcus Smart was probably the closest thing they had to a true point guard, but he really wasn't the best decision maker from what I've seen. So the Celtics are really terrifying, and I think this might even put them above the Milwaukee Bucks. The Celtics are really going to be terrifying this year, especially for the Eastern Conference teams like my Sixers, and I even am more afraid now of the Celtics than the Milwaukee Bucks, even though I made that video about Damian Lillard yesterday, just basically explaining why the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be terrifying. I understand that Jrue Holiday might not necessarily be the most flashy move of the offseason, but I think it is going to be one of the more critical and important moves, because you have to understand that, like I said, the Boston Celtics have needed this kind of player for a long time, and not only did they address their biggest flaw and need by getting one of the better players they could have even gotten for that need, but now they have like maybe the most complete roster in the NBA. There's really not a flaw in their roster. I mean, backup center could be an issue, you know, because you lose Robert Williams, you lose a little bit of that defensive versatility and, you know, just interior presence in general, and you lose some scoring off the bench with Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know, man. I think the upside is way more important than the downside. I think having the ability to take the pressure off of Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown for playmaking duties is going to be so massive. Jrue Holiday is going to get them so many open looks. It's going to be insane. They're going to have so much more freedom to run the offense how they want. With Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown off the ball, they're going to be, like I said in last video about Dame and Giannis, both of those guys are going to have more energy to play defense, I would say, down the stretch of games, because they won't have to handle the ball so much and create for their offense and run the offense. Because before it was more like, you know, my turn, your turn kind of thing with Tatum and Brown as far as running the show goes on offense. Sometimes Smart would carry the playmaking duties and he was pretty good at it, but this is just a whole nother level of efficiency when you're having a really smart veteran like Jrue Holiday who just plays the right way. And I've made the case now for a little while that I believe the Boston Celtics have, you could argue, have too much versatility when it comes to having players that can really do everything. That's not always a good thing, because when you have a team that's really versatile and every single one of your players can really do a lot of things, it kind of muddies up the roles a little bit, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm building a team, I would rather have a clear number one option on offense, a really good playmaker as a point guard, a defensive center, and then like your elite scoring options, like I said. But when the roles are defined like that, everybody knows their job. I think when you have too much versatility like the Celtics, everybody tries to maybe do a little too much, and everybody kind of loses sight of their roles, to where it's very hard to be organized in a setting like that, because if everybody's trying to do similar things and capable of doing similar things, the fit isn't really great, because you don't really enhance the talent around you, I feel like. Whereas if you have everybody has a defined role, Tatum is going to be the scorer, Jaylen Brown is going to be the second scorer who plays really good defense, Porzingis is there to protect the rim and shoot open threes, occasional, you know, low post action, and Jrue Holiday is going to set everybody up and lock up the opposing point guard. That's about as good as it gets in terms of having people that have defined roles and know how to do them as good as anyone in the league. Like I said, I think this just gives Joe Mazzulla us so much to work with in terms of how he's going to be able to run the offense now, because without a true point guard, it's really hard to run an organized offense that can get efficient shots all the time, to where I think last year and, a couple of years prior, seen Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown kind of, like I said, take, your turn, my turn kind of thing, where just an ISO on the wing and, they read the situation and sometimes end up taking contested jump shots that they shouldn't be taking, or, and I'm not saying they don't make them, because they do, but if someone else is able to set up Jayson Tatum with a wide open three, or get him an opportunity to cut to the basket, or take the pressure off of his hands to create all the offense, it's going to be so much better for him overall. He's going to be much more efficient. Therefore, the Boston Celtics will be much more efficient. Love the defensive fit as well. I think if you were planning on starting Malcolm Brogdon, obviously this is a massive upgrade on defense, and the Celtics, we already know, are one of the more versatile defensive teams in the league. They could probably switch 1 through 5 with this lineup. It's going to be Jrue Holiday, Derek White, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis. 5 players who are all defense caliber players. It's just going to be madness, man. It's just such a good fit. Jrue Holiday is a seamless fit. Same as Dame to Milwaukee is just a seamless fit. I don't know if this means anything to anybody watching, but when I try to assess a team, I try to think about like what scares me about that team, like how, if my team was playing them, like how I would feel. Like some teams scare me and some teams don't. Celtics didn't scare me as much because I knew their late game decision making was never going to be that great because they don't have a point guard. But now I'm like, like that was the missing piece. Like now they're just totally complete and everybody should be afraid. I know I'm just ranting. I literally didn't script one thing, but I just wanted to get this video out to you guys because I'm telling you, this is massive news. And I just can't believe my Sixers couldn't make a move for Jrue Holiday, former Sixer, just an awesome Sixer too. He was so good. Oh man, this is a bad day for me, but it's a good day for the NBA, I guess, especially if you're a Boston Celtics fan. I'm telling you guys, any Celtics fans out there, you guys are going to have a field day with me this year because I'm a Sixers fan. You guys are going to beat me again. But if you guys are worried about, the fit, or you're kind of on the fence about the trade, like I'm telling you, don't be. This is so good for you guys. Just Celtics are just going to be at another level, man, especially come playoff time. So important to have a great decision maker. Saw it with the Jokic. See it, the smarter teams who can create more efficient shots down the stretch of games usually end up winning. So there is literally no reason, if everyone stays healthy, that team shouldn't be in the finals, other than if Milwaukee gets in their way. Obviously, we have to see what happens with my 76ers and the James Harden situation, if we're going to be able to get anything good out of that to really change the dynamic of the Eastern Conference. But I would say I doubt it at this point. Just doesn't really seem that likely. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I just had to make a little rant for you guys, and let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of the Jrue Holiday situation heading to Boston for Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, and 2 first-round picks. I think it's an absolute steal for the Celtics. When I saw it, my heart just sank. That should let you know how I feel about it. There is something to be said about losing that depth of Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon, and how they're going to be able to make up for that. Maybe around the deadline they can get something done. But looking at their roster right now, like they have really solid athleticism off the bench. I guess Peyton Pritchard would maybe slide into that role of running the second unit there. I would say Peyton Pritchard's going to have a lot more playing time now. Really good shooter. But this is an absolutely perfect fit for the Celtics. I think the front court depth is going to be an issue a little bit as well, but I would probably start him and bring Derek White off the bench. One of those guards is going to have to come off the bench, I would say, unless you want to run super small with like Porzingis at the 5 and just have like a small wing lineup. But O'Shea Brissett was a good signing in hindsight now. Sam Hauser, obviously good shooter. So Luke Cornett as well as a center who played some minutes last year. So I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think of the trade down in the comment section. That's just my 2 cents on it. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more NBA content. I cover, NBA news like the trades. I do tier lists all the time. We talk about hot takes. We talk about just, fun creative stuff I'm trying to do here. And we're trying to get to 12K. We're at 11.9 right now. So it would really mean a lot to me if you guys could do that. I love the NBA. That's what I live for. I live for the NBA and my 76ers losing in the second round every year. Subscribe to my 2K channel. Link will be down in the description. It's called Dehave2K. We play 2K and make 2K content over there all the time. And hopefully you guys just have a fantastic rest of your day today. This is your boy Dehave, and as always, peace.